Hey, good afternoon, YouTube. Thanks for coming by and taking a look at part 2 of So You're Thinking You're Going to Start a Booth. All right. I don't know if that's what's going to be called or not, but if you are thinking about start a booth, go back and check out my part 1. I'm going to do a quick recap before I launch into part 2 here today. Good stuff in part 1, and there's a couple things that I want to add to it that I wish I had put in there, but it was all about experience and choice. You know, don't rush into it. Take it slow. Go shop in these places. Pull in the experience. Understand, you know, how the place is working, how it feels, because if you can't understand it as a buyer, it's going to be difficult for you to make a sale. You want to go to a place where people are going to come back over and over. You want repeat customers. So go and shop around. I'd love to talk to people that don't have a choice, and you know, that's going to be a challenge, but I think we could figure it out, and I can help you with that. Shop there, talk to the owners. Remember, create your network, introduce yourself to other dealers. I'm not going to swallow up a bunch of part 2 time going in that, but back in part 1, I covered that pretty well, how important that is. Understanding holidays, understanding the hours, how the owner is going to deal with holidays and rotating staff. I'm going to cover that in a future part, because it's super important, because you're going to make friends with these people, and a lot of these people will actually be running that place. If the owners want to take a vacation, they will delegate the counter to other dealers. So another dealer will likely be making transactions for you on your behalf out of your booth. So that's a really good thing to be thinking about and understand. So remember, we covered what do you get back, what kind of receipt, what kind of tracking will the owner give you, what kind of receipt at the end of the month are you going to get from the owner for what was sold and how it was sold, whether it was cash, whether it was VMOs, or whether it was personal check, making sure that the establishment takes every kind of payment possible. That's super important. Never jump in bed. I actually have a friend that actually has a booth in a cash only place. It's a nightmare. We can go over that in comments and things like that if we need to, but I think you can do the math to figure that out. Creating your network, and then also wrapping up the recap of part 1 is it's work. Okay, this is work. It's fun, and there's going to be a lot of excitement of getting the booth starting and making your choices and getting your brand together and your look and feel, and then that's going to wear off. Okay, it's going to slow down for you, and there's a lot of things to do to keep your booth clean, keep it tidy, maintaining that network and things of that. There's some attrition that's going to take place, so beware of that. It's work. Okay, so on to part 2. Let me get a drink of water and I'll be right back. Okay, part 2. Before I do that, there was a couple things I wish I would have added to part 1. Ask the owner if they have theme booths. So, you know, miraculously you go into these places and every booth is full, right? Well, that's not a reality. The reality is that there's empty booths there, but the owner will put their own stuff to keep them full. And then when you come along and they show you where the upcoming booths are going to become available, they'll move their stuff out. Now, sometimes it's another dealer that's quitting or moving on, and you're taking their booth. But other times it's just their stuff that they're selling in the empty space to keep the house full. Okay, theme booths are awesome. They're a perfect way to actually increase your square footage. Ask them if they, you know, like right now they have a Western theme. It's a single booth, and anybody that has something that's Western related, hay hooks, cowboy hats, boots, whatever, you can put it in that booth. They also have a music booth right now. I've got some old drum cymbals, and I've got some YouTube print posters and some vinyl records, and you name it. It's a great way to actually be involved You also, it's a great way to meet people because you're actually now putting things in a booth with other dealers, so you're commingling. You're back to creating that network. You're talking with the owner, and you're standing there and you're talking about memories, and it is the magic of the space. Secondly is, what does the owner do as far as marketing, cross marketing? So like, does the owner have a big Facebook presence? Are they actually putting stuff on Facebook, taking pictures, introducing new dealers and taking pictures of their booths and uploading it, or walking around and taking pictures of really cool things in the mall and then posting them and drawing people in through other means? A good example is our owners, also they're big eBayers themselves. They have actually sold things out of my booth, and they have actually shipped it, boxed it up, shipped it, and away it goes. I got my money. Yeah, if the owner just decided to put another $20 on that item to cover their costs, that's a win-win. Okay, so what type of marketing, what type of themes, what type of programs, discounts, specials, that kind of things, what do they do? Do you have an active owner? Are they engaged in actually making you successful? Okay, so I wanted to add that. I think there was one other thing here. Nope, that was it. So let's go right into part 2. Okay, so this is going to be exciting. Okay, you're gonna feel like you're gonna take that, like it's easy to take a shortcut here. Get your agreement, your terms and conditions, get it in writing. Okay, sit down with the owner, the manager. If they don't already have something that's boilerplate, which I would be very surprised, and I'd feel a little sketchy if they didn't already have something. It talks about your first and your last. It talks about when you get paid. It talks about what your booth base fee is. It talks about what their take is, what their percentage take every time that something is sold over the counter. All of those things typically will be just one page. That's all. I don't need a 20-page document. I just want it boom, 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 boom. Simple, manageable. Get a copy of it, read it, understand it. Okay, and in that document, usually there's a book, and you give the owner the opportunity to negotiate on your behalf up to, let's say, 15%. Or 15% above a certain dollar amount. You can actually put that right in your agreement. That allows them to not have to call you if somebody brings, 4 things to the counter out of your booth. They're saying, hey, do you think I can get a discount because I'm buying 4 things? They said, yeah, let me look. And they flip open the book and they said, well, yeah, I'm authorized to give you 5% right now, but I'll call them if you'd like. So that's really successful. So understand your terms and your conditions, get it in writing. Your first and last, your base, your percentage that gets take off for your different sales, and what you get back, like covered in part 1. I want to know what my receipt looks like. I want to know what transactions, which ones were paid by cash, which ones were paid by Vimos, and we already covered that multiple times. But you should get an example of what you'll get each month from the owner for your sales. Don't forget tax. Okay, if tax applies to you, make sure that you understand how taxes, what taxable incomes, how that's calculated, and how that gets back to you, and what they're going to report, because they will. Let's see, asking for examples, discounts. Yeah, so specials and discounts. So all super important. The most important thing is pricing your things right. And I'm going to go over part 3. I'm not going to go into part 3, but I'm going to give you a rundown of what we're going to cover in the next segment, because I think we're still doing pretty good on time. I'm trying to keep this under 10 minutes, and we're at 9 minutes here. I'm not going to tell you what to put in your booth. I'm going to tell you what's been successful for me of what to put in the booth, how I price my items, locking things behind glass and having to go get somebody with a key each time, for having to open the key just for someone to open up and take a look at it versus having things out and laying out. I'm going to cover that in part 3, keeping up on your booth, keeping it tidy, and how to deal with specials, and staying engaged. So I'll see you at part 3. Thanks for coming and checking out part 2. If you missed part 1, go back and catch up. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you later.